The Kentucky Proud Plated Up project offers a delicious asparagus recipe. In fact, it's an Asian-inspired recipe. It's called an Asian asparagus salad, and it is so delicious. It's so simple. And so today I'm using some local asparagus, and I'm going to show you just with a few ingredients how you can make a very unique and delicious salad. Asparagus has a tough end at the bottom, so anytime that you're going to use asparagus in a recipe, you want to make sure that you discard that. So what I'm going to do is basically take my knife, and I'm just going to go across my bunch and cut off about an inch or so of the asparagus stalk, and just dispose those. And you'll see that I'm kind of taking a smaller bunch, and that's only so that I can handle it without the asparagus rolling all over the place. And I'm cutting those on the diagonal, just like that. I'm taking each stalk and cutting those into 3 pieces. And now we're ready to blanch. Blanching your asparagus is vital. It's a great way to lock in those nutrients and also create a vibrant green color. We're looking for that green apple color in our asparagus. That's exactly what blanching is going to give you. Our water's boiling and we're ready for blanching. So what I'm doing is carefully taking my cutting board, folding that into the water, and putting all of the asparagus in the boiling water. This only needs to be in there for 2 to 3 minutes. You'll notice the color is quickly changing to a bright green color. So our asparagus has boiled for 1 to 2 minutes and we're ready to dip that in an ice cold bath. Simply drain the asparagus into your colander and place your colander in an ice bath. So I have ice and cold water, and you want to immediately do that. That is part of the blanching procedure, locking in those green colors. So again, look at the ingredients we have. They're very few. Most of these ingredients you probably already have in your pantry. So you're spending very little on this delicious recipe. 1 tablespoon of sesame seeds, which I love, give great flavor. 1.5 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. Soy sauce. Make sure you pick up a low sodium soy sauce. You're still going to get the flavor, but cutting back on that sodium that we overconsume anyways. And you can either at this point use an artificial sweetener, or if you have sugar on hand, go ahead and use that too. And with a whisk, you're just going to combine thoroughly all those ingredients together. And it won't take long before this becomes so fragrant that you just smell it and you're just so excited to eat it. You're really looking for the sugar to dissolve in this dressing. Okay, so we've got our asparagus. It's blanched, it's cut at the diagonal, it's ready to be added to our Ziploc bag. Place that super simple dressing that we made over top of our asparagus. And one thing I love about this recipe is we are using a Ziploc bag. So hey, that's one less dish that you have to clean, that you have to mess up. It's so simple. You can just throw this bag away when you're all finished. Give it a quick toss. You want to make sure that your dressing coats every single bit of your asparagus. Now, the great thing about this recipe is you can prepare this ahead of time. In fact, I encourage you to prepare this, say, the day before an event, or even the morning prior to a cookout, because those flavors are only going to marry, they're only going to become more tasty. Look how beautiful and delicious that is. Asparagus is surely to be one of your favorite springtime commodities. Whether you grill it, you prepare it in a casserole, or this Kentucky Proud plated up Asian-inspired salad, pick up some local asparagus either at your market or even in your supermarket, as this is the time of the year to purchase it at the least amount of money. You're saving money, you're amping up those nutrients, and trying something new. So we hope you love it as much as we do. We'll see you next time.
When I think of spring, I think of one of my most favorite crops, and that's asparagus. And today we're going to visit with one of South Central Kentucky's premier asparagus growers, Miss Peggy Gray with Boyce-Gray Farms.
We moved here close to 40 years ago when Ronald got out of the Army. I went back to school and got a degree in accounting and left home for the first time in 19 years of marriage. We just sort of got out of farming for a while, but we've always grown our food, grown everything we ate, even down to the beef and pork. We had a hog confinement operation for a number of years. My sister had participated in a farmer's market and found that the gentleman who was growing at that time simply couldn't meet the demand. And she encouraged me diligently to get into it, and I did, and I thank her because it has been well received. I love everything about this kind of life.
Peggy, why is farming important to you? Why is raising all your food here, why is that important to you?
I think people want to know the source of their food. I think they want to know the source of almost all products that are used anymore, and the source of everything that they need for their daily life.
Can we go back and take
Certainly.
a look at the asparagus patch?
Certainly.
All right,
We
that
can.
sounds great. Maybe I can pick up a few tips,
All
Peggy.
right.
Well, we are in your asparagus field, and when I look around, I see a lot of work. I know you spend a lot of hours out here.
I do. In 2004, I put out 1,500 crowns, and according to our calculations on this irregular field, that's about a third of an acre. We have had great success with this patch, and it has increased probably threefold since it was put out. The waiting is the hardest thing. It was really, really hard to wait all those years before I could pick it.
Walk us through the planting process.
The field should be prepared meticulously in order that both weeds and pests will not be a problem. Your field needs to have as much organic matter as possible, maybe even green manure tilled under a couple of years before in order to get it in the best shape. We tilled it deeply, had it in really good shape, and we actually set the crowns with a tobacco setter. It was the perfect, it gave us exactly the right depth. We prepared the trench widely, then drove through the center of that trench and then pulled more dirt back in on it. It needs to be at least 8 inches in the ground, because as it grows over the winter times when it's cold, it heaves out of the ground a little bit.
And when you talk about crowns, for some people who might not be familiar with asparagus, talk about the crown of the asparagus.
It's just a little gnarly root like this, and you can see where the growing portion is at the top, but it's white, fibrous roots that you spread out into the trench that you've made. We found that it really wasn't necessary to spread the crowns that much as long as they were deep and straight. You don't want them to get messed up when you put them in the ground and all knotted up. But they really are just kind of white and fibrous roots on the bottom of what appears to be a dried top when you put it in the ground. As the spears come up and they're too small to harvest, you leave them, then you've got a new start of a new crown over here. It just spreads over the years.
Now, Peggy, you mentioned patience, and patience is very important when you're dealing with an asparagus crop,
Yes.
because when you plant it, you can't automatically get a harvest off of that.
No, you cannot. As if you harvest it too soon, the fern is the food stock for the crowns, and if you harvest it too soon, you're taking away all the food that would be feeding the crowns and making them spread.
Okay, Peggy, you mentioned that you're ready to take a delivery. Can we go see how you package the asparagus?
Certainly.
All right, let's go. Oh, it is so pretty.
Thank you. I'm proud of my product. I have my name and address and phone number on here, and anybody can find it who wants it at the farmer's market. And my commercial accounts they've been very good to work with me. As soon as it's picked, you need to get the field heat out of it. So the first thing I do is wash it in very cool water, and you can usually take half the heat out of it with just a rinse of about 5 minutes, but you don't want to leave it in water.
Well, we're so glad that you let us come out here and visit with
Thank
you today and enjoy your beautiful asparagus bed and the end product, but we don't want to keep you. We know you have deliveries to make, but thank you so much, Peggy.
You're quite welcome. I'm glad you came.